since you was talking about there was too many corny things that was going on, Cooper Koch, who we was talking about prior to when we were talking about the whole Ryan Murphy situation, is opening up about the incestuous homoerotic controversy that surrounded the show. Now, Cooper Koch is a cutie. And I have to say, like, the brother that he was playing, Eric Menendez, he was a cutie too. So let me pull up this picture of Cooper. There was another picture that I saw on Twitter, but I couldn't post that one because it was him with his legs spreading. He had on like these tighty whities. I said, "Y'all not gonna have me get in trouble." Because I remember one time I posted a picture, and they were like, "You can't put that picture up there." I forget who. Oh, it was Diego Barros, and it was like, "That picture is too much." Even though it was a kind of a conservative photo, so I had to take the safe route and just do a shirtless one. But anyway, let's get into Cooper. So shout out to Out Magazine for this story. Because they said Cooper Koch, the out gay actor who played Eric Menendez in the hit Netflix series, has now chimed in on the suggestion that there was an incestuous relationship between the two siblings, Koch explained via Variety. So I knew that this was a very controversial story and that people were going to be upset and affected by what they were seeing. I think, though, you do have to put it into the context of the situation and that we're sort of painting a picture based on what somebody else's perspective was. It's not necessarily the truth of what happened, it's just what Dominic Dunn thinks. And there, I think, are are other places in the story where it's sort of planted to give people all these different perspectives. And, you know, and so overall, though Koch noted that he absolutely does not think that the Menendez brothers had a sexual relationship between them, adding, I do not think that's true, and I don't think it was intended by the show to make or break the truth. I think that was just a theory that one person had and that got put into the show because the person was a character in the show. I stand with Eric in everything that he says in his testimony. I believe to be his truth, and I believe him. And so he also expressed some sympathy for the real life Eric Menendez as reported by Variety. Koch said, Eric's reaction definitely affected me and it made me feel things. I sympathize with him. I empathize with him. I get it. I understand how difficult it would be to have the worst part of your life be televised for millions of people to see. It's so exposing. I understand how he feels and I stand by him. He continued by saying, in terms of approaching him and approaching the part, I just really wanted to do as much research and dig really deep into myself to really portray him with integrity and just be as authentic as possible to support him and also to support his family and all the people that stand with him. So, as I was saying before, with the whole thing regarding um with Ryan Murphy about, oh yeah, I don't want to go and visit him. And what are we going to talk about? So I was like, well, you're writing a 9-episode series based on the Menendez brothers. I would think that the first thing anybody would want to do is go visit the people in prison just to get an essence of who they are and not go based off of what's written on a page and other people's perspectives who were there at the time and is having and giving opinions on things, but weren't necessarily in the room when all this other stuff happened. So you're basically you created your whole series based on hearsay rather than actually with the adding the extra icing on the cake, meeting up with the Menendez brothers and getting to know and understand where they're coming from and their point of view so that way you can incorporate that into the series. So yeah, it is common practice for actors, writers, and creatives in general to embody all of the feelings attached to characters whose stories they're telling. So I can understand like why Cooper basically has empathy and sympathy for a person that he's playing because this is a real life person. And I definitely feel like the scenes where he was crying and revealing some of the stuff that was going on in his personal life to the attorney when he was in jail, especially when his father did him and all this other stuff, that was a gut wrenching scene. And he acted his ass off in that. And Nicholas Chavez, who, played Lyle, shared a similar feeling in recent interviews, saying that it must be incredibly difficult to see some of the most painful moments of your life being portrayed on television. Because, we're not going through all of this. Everybody else is going through it. So, excuse me. So, we're just like the voyeurs, just sitting there watching what's going on. And we're just, it's all like we're just taking it in. But I can only imagine what, you know, the most intimate or the most painful moment of your life is being projected on TV for our entertainment. So the thing about people saying it's interesting that he issued a statement when I haven't seen the show, I don't feel like they need to watch something if they lived it. So I'm definitely at least somebody on that damn team or on that and part of that show has some kind of empathy. And so if y'all care, if you haven't seen it yet, it is on Netflix if y'all want to check it out. So I say, well, this is say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all here for what Cooper had to say? And have you seen, this Monsters series, whatever the case was? And I know they were sitting over here talking about like the homoerotic incest stuff. He doesn't think it happened. It's based off of something that um Dominic done a theory of his. But I wouldn't be surprised if the father was abusing them, and they did kind of find comfort and solace in each other by there being some incestuous type of relationship. And that was a way for them, it's some deep rooted, whatever the case is, like it's a way of protection and love for one another because of what their father did to them. So it's sort of like there's something of survival. I don't know. I'm just trying to dig deep and try to understand if it did happen, where that comes from. But when you see stuff like that, it's like people aren't going to get the nuances on top of it. You literally have to explain some of the things to some people because even in the show, Dominic does imply that he feels like there was some of that there, and maybe the way it was projected on screen, people didn't catch it, so they automatically felt that, oh, y'all just trying to say that these two was hunching when it was just a theory from Dominic Dunn. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.